Hey guys, it's Nikki from Still Moments Nursery. I'm out in my studio today, so the setup's changed just a little bit. I'm going to show you how I paint my baby fingernails and toenails. I've got a kit here that needs the nails done, so I'm going to use the Real Effects paints. I'm going to either use, well, I generally either use the white or the skin tone. For this particular kit, I'll probably, I'm going to mix the two. So it's not so bright white, which is what you don't want, but it's not going to blend with the skin tone of the doll kit, so it's going to be like a nice sort of creamy pale white. I've also got the matte lac to make it stick, and I use not tap water, I try to use distilled water as well, so try and get some distilled water to mix down your paints. What you're going to need is all your paints, of course, a mixing tray. I've got a nice Sechrist brush, so it's a nice fine point, so you're going to get a nice line on the nail. I've got a couple of toothpicks because I don't like to wipe off the paint once you've sort of created the little nail. If you're sort of wiping it off, it's going to eventually sort of get a line to it, but to sort of smooth it off and sort of get a nice edging on it, I just use a toothpick, and I sort of just create my line if I go over, just using the tip of the toothpick. And just an old brush to mix my paint. So what I'm going to do is I'll just put a couple of drops of water just in my tray. You're not going to want it as thick, or sorry, as thin as your wash coats that you do. You're wanting a sort of like a fairly thick colour. I'm just going to add in a bit of skin tone. So I'm going to put in just about that much. So I'll just mix that with the water that I've added. You can sort of see how thick that's going to be. I've still got to add white, so I'm not going to add any more of the flesh just yet anyway. I'm going to add in just a little bit of white. So just a little bit of white, and mix those together. You can see that's actually given a nice, like a pale colour, sort of compared to this bit here. So that was the original colour compared to the white that I've just added. So you can sort of see it's going to give a nice nail or baby nail colour, and not look too white. So once you're happy with your colour, and if you need to add more water, just add more water. Sort of play around as you go. But once you're happy, add a bit of matte lac in, which is what's going to make the paint stick to the vinyl. So I'm just going to add, we double the amount of paint that I added. So I'll just mix that together. And there is your mix all ready to paint your baby nails. So then I'm going to use the thin or the pointed bristle brush, and I'm just going to gather some of the colour onto the brush and sort of just dab it off. You don't want too much to start with, and then so on the nail, you're just wanting to just sort of brush where you want the nail to be, and if you need more colour, just sort of play around and just gather more paint as you need it. Okay, so there you can sort of see the nail coming up. Now if you go over just like I have sort of over here, just on this edge bit here, you can just gently sort of take the paint off with the toothpick. So just so I can get this right, because it is air dry, you want to actually get it right, and you just sort of take off the paint while it's still wet create your baby nail. And there you go, you can sort of see the nail. So you just keep applying paint with the tip of your brush. You're actually wanting to get a really fine line. You don't want the nail to be sort of thick. So the finer the nail you can get, the better it looks and the more realistic it looks. Now if you want the little moons in the top of the finger, you can actually do that. What I do is I'll actually take off most of the paint from the brush, and then I'll just sort of just paint just in the top there. And you might just have to go back and forth just a little bit and sort of rub it on. But you don't want a line like the fingernail because it is a little moon, and you sort of want it to be a little bit more transparent. So you sort of just brush it on with the drying paint that's on your brush. And I find that actually gives a really nice transparent moon, and it looks sort of realistic once you've added the gloss to it. And that's how I do my nails, and I'll just repeat the process over all of the nails. And I'll do the feet toenails exactly the same. Depending on the age of the doll, I will normally do sort of the little moons in their fingers and the fingernails, of course, but I'll just show you how I do his big toe, just so you can sort of see. So I'll just gather my paint, sort of just mix it, just up like that. And then I'm going to paint the actual toenail first. So I'll just draw the line. You can, if you sort of see the line coming up, and if you sort of want to leave it to dry before you apply another line, you can do so. It's just a matter of building up the nail until you're happy with one, the colour, and two, the look. So I'm quite happy with that nice thin line. So he's got a nice nice toenail line. So again, I'm just going to paint the little moon in his little finger, in his little toenail, sorry. So I'm just going to dry off most of the paint on my palette, and then I'm just going to come back and I'm just going to brush just on the top of there. And there you go. So it's a nice transparent sort of little moon. But there you go, guys. That's how I do my fingernails and toenails on my reborn dolls and my toddlers. And so let's see if I can show you. So I've done the middle one here. So he's had his little line done compared to the other one. And his big toe has been done. So I've just got to do that to the rest of the limbs. But yeah, guys, that's how I do my nails. So I hope you thought it was interesting. And the consistency of the mix is probably the most important that you need to worry about. As long as you can get that a lot thicker than your wash mixes, it should be fine, and you should be able to actually paint your nails on and get them to sort of look realistic, sort of, you know, layer upon layer. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.